deliberations provide a productive, purpose to resolve issues facing our city, that our differences that may arise provide us all points of view that will serve to strengthen our ultimate decision, and that at the end of the day, citizens of Jefferson City and staff of the city understand that we have acted in what we think are in the best interests of our city and its members.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome to City Hall. We will officially start our meeting now with the roll call led by our clerk.
Branch.
Here.
Bray.
Here.
Carroll. Here. Graham.
Present.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Mahalovich.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Schulte.
Here.
Scrivener.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum this evening. First of all, let's have our scouts get up, if you would, please. Arthur, I'm going to trust you with the microphone again. Can you turn that on? We'll get Arthur on the payroll here for long. Is it on? Here comes one.
Test 1, 2. Here we go.
All right, there you go. What's your name, young man?
I am Alec Land. I am from Troop 333. I am, my rank is first class, and I am senior patrol leader.
Cool.
My name is Matthew Hart. I'm from Troop 333. I am a first class scout and the assistant senior patrol leader.
All right.
My name is Dolan Nelson. I am from Troop 333, and I am a first class scout.
My name is Joe Nathan Gant. I am from Troop 333, and I am a second class scout.
Hey guys, what troop are you from again? 333?
Yes.
Okay, it's kind of a lucky number, some. If you could come forward, please, I have a presentation from the city to give you. We appreciate you guys taking time out of a school night to come here to City Hall, and we would hope someday each and every one of you would be up where we're at, because by then we'll be pretty old. At least some of us will be. Come on up, guys. Thanks for coming. All right. There you go. Thanks for coming. All right. Thanks for coming.
Good thing.
Thanks for
Set up the old-fashioned.
Good luck. Okay, next we have underneath number 7, no public hearings tonight. We have minutes and reports filed here at City Hall due to our boards and commissions. If you'd like to be a part of one of those, you can contact Gail Strope or on our website at jeffsonmo.org. Next we're going into council committee reports. First of all, we have the admin committee chaired by Councilwoman Carrie Carroll.
Thank you. We have canceled the administration committee meeting for next week, so we will not be having a September meeting. Our next meeting will be October 2nd at 8 a.m. across the hall. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carrie. Moving on, finance committee, been kind of busy lately, chaired by Sean Schulte. Sean.
Actually, the Finance Committee did not meet during the month of August. Our next meeting is September 24th on a Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. across the hall. However, as you mentioned, the Budget Committee has been very busy, and we intend to pull the budget off the informal calendar tonight for a vote. So thank you.
All right. Sean, I want to tell you this as the first year as a finance chair. I think you've done an outstanding job. I know it's been a difficult year, and we appreciate what you're doing. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Rick Prather.
The last public safety meeting was canceled, and our next meeting will be Thursday, October 3rd after the Brown Bagel across the hall.
Thank you, Rick. Next, Public Works and Planning, Mr. Scrivener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Works and Planning Committee met on Thursday, August the 22nd. We renewed a lease with the Jefferson City Hangar Association. We have several items of new business that are on tonight's agenda. Capital Mall Development Agreement for CID and future subdivision, Stone Ridge Village TDD expansion, Cole County Juvenile Officer parking. We have Frog Hollow Road project update discussion from Matt Barash. And as soon as this changes where I can see the second page. We had a discussion about Old Town incentive programs from Janice McMillan, and update on CDBG policy and some other issues. So there'll be several things on the agenda tonight, council meeting to work on. And our next meeting is Thursday, September the 19th, across the hall at 7:30 a.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob, appreciate it. Moving on, we have a liaison report tonight from Cultural Arts, and it's Mr. Rick Mahalovich. Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had met on August the 28th, and the main projects that were discussed was the art mural that's going to be bid out for on Highway 50, and a launch of a roundabout art that'll occur down on Stadium. And then there's two upcoming events. September 7th is a street art fair and jazz fest. And on September 13th, there's a sip and sit. It's a wine tasting paired with gourmet desserts and coffee and tea, and I have tickets. Our next meeting will be September 25th.
All right, thank you, Rick. Any other liaison reports this evening? Mr. Henry.
Actually, I will do one for historic preservation. They actually met, actually had an emergency meeting last week, which was last Monday when we had our budget meeting, so they were kind of going simultaneously. That point of discussion was actually the deterioration of the prison site, and what to, what action to take with that. So that's kind of where historic preservation is at this point, and then also the date for the next meeting is tentative at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to presentations, no appointments tonight from the mayor. Carrie, I'm sorry.
I wanted to make a quick comment on those two liaison reports. I noticed we did miss that meeting since we had the budget meeting, but the MSP is such a big topic. I would love if they do plan another meeting about it. Hopefully we can get it to where the council could attend. I bet we would all love to hear an update on kind of what action they're going to take, because they're a commission. Hopefully they can get something to the council where we could get something on to maybe somebody who could listen to what this commission is doing. I think that's super. And I wanted to mention on Councilman Mahalovich that the Arts Commission, they raise so much of their own funds. I think probably more than any commission I've seen. So for only $10, it's very reasonable. So I would really encourage the public and the council, because that money goes directly in to fund our public art, and they do a fantastic job raising their own money. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Carrie. No appointments tonight by the mayor. Moving on to number 10, Mr. Hank Stratman, East Side. Welcome, Hank.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for the opportunity to address and represent the East Side Business Association. I want to bring to your attention an initiative that we have coordinated with the Public Works Director and Planning Committee. We have decided to adopt the area of the road there between East High and East McCarty Street, vicinity of my property, Warwick Village, former Warwick Village, now the Village Square. Originally, in 1976, a little history, the East End Betterment Association, Mrs. Landwehr, John's mother, Mrs. Owens, and Mr. and Mrs. Owens, and Mr. and Mrs. Weaver were in charge of that Betterment Association. They put a 1976 bicentennial Veterans Monument right at the very tip of that intersection. Flagpole, nice light, a nice tree behind it. And most of us don't even know it's there. We don't notice it, and it kind of goes unrecognized. So the East End has decided that they would like to adopt that spot, enhance the Veterans Monument, and enhance the care and maintenance of that site to make it very representative of their organization and make it suitable for the public. The lower illustration here kind of shows you what the final product will look like. We are going to move we have a nice eagle, about 4-foot tall eagle. We're going to put on top of a pedestal, raised flower beds, and then a nice sign that kind of declares it a veterans tribute and thanks to all veterans, past, present, and future, for their service to our nation. And we like to call this we're kind of calling this area Freedom's Corner. We thought that was the appropriate name. It kind of says it all. And it'll be a kind of a I call it a drive-by monument, because it's not one of those where you park and get out and walk, because there's really not much parking there and there's a lot of traffic. But it's a drive-by monument to remind people of the service and sacrifice of the veterans. Next slide, please. This will be probably close to the final version of the sign. It'll be in granite, engraved, and Midwest Block and Brick has donated all the block work and the stone work that's going on. And we'll talk more about the donors here in the next slide. We're going to have a small fundraising initiative because we're going to sell pavers much like they did at Muhlenberg, much like this done at several other places in town. Mainly it's going to be sponsored by small businesses, and some businesses are smaller than other businesses, so we're kind of coming up with $100 for the individual, $500 for very small businesses, and 1,000 pavers where you can actually put on your business logo as you contribute to this effort. So that's just kind of a quick layout of what our plans are to fund it. Next slide. Okay, now, when we first started this, East Side said, well, we brought it up at a committee meeting, and they said, what's it going to cost? I said, I don't know. Let me go check with some of my key contributors and donors. I went to these folks, and not a one of them said no. They've all said whatever we can do to help. All these are pledges of support, and so I think we probably have close to 75% of the cost of the upgrades to this little monumental Veterans Tribute already in the book. And we just need another about probably 8,000 to 10,000 to kind of finish it out and sustain it over time. I'll just let you go. So we're off and running. Now our goal is to have this monument dedicated on November the 11th, Veterans Day. That's only 2 months away, and I'm the general contractor and fundraiser and coordinator of this project, so it will be ready on November the 11th. I think that may be my last slide. What are your questions? Oh, way ahead timelines, as you can see there. What are your questions? And again, thank you for supporting this. And oh yes, Larry, Mr. Henry.
I didn't necessarily have a question, Hank, but I just wanted to commend you on your work that you've done, all the work that you put in over there, and with the renovations and everything that you've done to build that area back up. You've done a tremendous job, and we appreciate you and like and love and enjoy that you're a part of the community. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for those kind comments.
Carrie?
And I completely agree. I know that place was falling down before Warwick Village was, before you and Linda basically built it back almost with your own bare hands, and a lot of vision for that area. So this is going to be a fantastic cornerstone. My question is, if you want to purchase, let's say, a brick paver or be a sponsor of some kind, do they call you, or what number do they call in order to participate?
Good question. We're putting Communicates helping us put together a real nice professional fundraising brochure, and on there will be the 3 options. And I think we're going to have it on the East End Business Association's website, where you can just log on and pull it up, copy it, and send in you make your decision on how you want to go, whether it's a business or as an individual, to commemorate one of your veterans or family members. So I'll have that ready by this Friday, and we'll have it on the air. So we'll make sure you know how to
Great. And for now, they do the East Side Business Association website. Soon, if they just tune into that, they'll have that information.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Hank, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next, we have on our agenda tonight Mr. Dan Westhughes of Central Bank and our very own Captain Doug Shoemaker of our Jefferson City Police Department. I'm assuming you brought him to cuff him in front of all of us. How are we going to?
I'm not going through that again. Not in public. Thank you for giving me a few minutes. I know that it's a privilege, and so I'll be very short. We've just kicked off the United Way campaign again. Every year, we're a cyclical business, and we kicked it off on Thursday, and it's time to talk about workplace campaigns. I'm the board chair this year for United Way. I've lived back in Jefferson City for 17 years, and of those 17 years, I volunteered for the United Way all 17 years, and so I've pretty much done every job there is to do with that agency. Through that time, I've learned basically 3 things, guys. One of them is that the 24 agencies that we have that are serving Jefferson City and the United Way are doing really great work here in Jefferson City, and they are making a difference in a lot of people's lives, quite a few lives, more than you would think. Number 2, the process that our United Way has to make sure that those funds are being used appropriately and that they're getting to the right people is very good. I've sat on funds distribution my entire volunteerism time with United Way, and it's the best way to understand that dollars are going to the right place. I think you've heard this number before, but we have less than 10% administration cost for our United Way, which is one of the lowest in the country, actually, for our size of United Way. We have a $1.7 million campaign. Most United Way agencies run between 20 and 30%. We run under 10%, so we're a very well managed organization. And the third thing that I've learned in my time with United Way is, guys, the need is always there in Jefferson City, and although it's not always in front of everyone, we have a lot of poverty, and we have a lot of people that don't have a place to live. We have a lot of people that go homeless, and we have a lot of kids that have bad influencers out there in front of them, and all of our United Way agencies are helping fix that problem. It's time, though, for the United Way workplace kickoff, which is really why I'm here. And as I think most of you know, I work for Central Bank, and we obviously run a very strong workplace campaign that I've always been proud of. But I've learned something there, too. It is very important, obviously, for us to get our executives to donate, because that's where some of the larger dollars come in. Keep in mind, workplace campaigns are the lifeblood of United Way. It's one of the only agencies that really get out there and businesses allow us in. So we need those kind of people. But here's what I've found interesting about Central Bank. As a percentage of people that are giving, my entry-level employees are the biggest pool of employees that are giving. Okay, and I'll tell you why. I've been studying this for quite a while. I have employees that have been served by Rape and Abuse Crisis Center. I have employees that kids are coming home with the buddy packs in the weekends. I have employees that are on scholarship through United Way funds, sending their kids through Special Learning Center. We have 670 employees sitting here in Jefferson City, and you'd be surprised the amount of people that are being served by United Way agencies that are working for Central Bank, but that are still making close to minimum wage. And so I tell you that story because these are the people that end up giving back through the workplace campaign, because they see what the United Way is doing for them, and it's a way for people to be philanthropic without having to give a lot of money. They can still give a little bit. So I thank the city for going through a workplace campaign, and I thank you for the volunteerism that you guys give us, particularly with Captain Shoemaker here, and I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about your campaign.
Any questions? No, I'm just kidding. First of all, thanks for having us. We do appreciate it. I'm here kind of under a different role. Usually I'm in a uniform and talking about something police-rated. But tonight it's a little bit different, and this year I was asked to be on the campaign leadership team to help assist with different roles throughout the community and try and get even more involved. And as you know, this year our goal is $1.7 million for the United Way, and the pace setters alone have already raised almost half of that in $800,000. So we're well on our way. It's a big goal. It sounds like a lot of money, but I'm sure we'll make it. So we're very excited about it. As a member of city government, after almost 21 years in this job, I get excited about what we do as city officials and as members of our staff, because I always want us to do better and want us to do more. And I think we're certainly capable of that. I will say that not being from Jefferson City, I have found this, however, to be a very generous community. No matter what seems to come up, people tend to find a cause and then they give to it, and they really put everything into it that they possibly can. And the United Way, with 24 member agencies, has served over 8,800 people in 2012 alone. That's a lot of people within our Jefferson City, mid-Missouri community. So when Dan talks about people being served, certainly it's very applicable to what we do. As a police officer, and I think I speak for members of our fire department too, we see firsthand some of the effects of things that happen, whether it's the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center, the victims that have no place to go, but RAC serves them, whether it's the Red Cross that shows up after a fire and gives people lodging when their house is just burnt down, the Boys and Girls Club, which is an excellent organization, and so on and so forth. All of the 24 member agencies have a lot to do with people within our community, services that they normally cannot at all afford, and that's where the United Way comes in. What I'm asking is for a greater commitment from our city government and from our employees. I know it's difficult. You're going to talk about budget later. We all get that. We all understand it. That makes the need for the community even greater, because they're not getting any more money either. But what I would like to say is, within the next few weeks or next week or so, I'm going to meet with all the department heads and talk about individual campaign goals, talk about how we can move forward and do some great things this year. And I'm really excited about it. It's an honor and a privilege. Ann couldn't be here tonight. She's busy with the Scholastic thing, so Dan was kind enough to come. And we really want to get this thing going this year and do some great things. So thanks for having us, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for our guest tonight from the United Way? Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Appreciate what you do in the community. Next, we have on the agenda an addition of Captain Tim Young of our world-famous Jefferson City Fire Service. Tim?
Good evening. Do I need to give my name?
No, but I understand you have another partner with you.
Right. Captain Steve Holtmeyer is with me.
Is he
Steve
coming up
is
too, or are you going to do this on your own?
I'm going to do this on my own.
Okay. I just want to make sure that everyone knew he was in the crowd.
Right, and I want to recognize Steve as our chairperson for our museum project. And speaking of the museum, we got two things we want to talk to you about. Just a brief update on the museum project. We've been able to, since January, do a number of projects down at that building on Miller Street, to the point now it's becoming an empty shell, and it's ready for some real restoration. We have people on the fire department that are helping us with several projects. One of our members is rerunning a water line for us. Another one of our members, once we have roofing supplied by Weathercrafter across the river, he's going to put the roof on. So we have that talent within the fire department of members off duty that are helping with that project. We've come up with a way to help fund some of our projects. As many of you know, I've been working on our history for about 6 years. Well, the book that I've been working on is now finished, and I would like to challenge each member of the city council and the mayor to buy a copy of our book. To date, we've sold 125 books, and we're working toward a goal of 250. So we're halfway there. And if we can do that in the next 3 weeks, then I can go to the publisher with a good order, and we'll have money then to benefit our fire museum. We're going to order a few extras on the other side of this to have some to sell, and that will be clear profit for our museum. And then as we do additional runs later on, as we get more demand for it, we'll have more to sell that way also. Can I give each member a brochure tonight, or would you rather pick that up later?
You can give them out right now if you'd like. I got mine before the meeting. I think a couple other people do too. But Tim, really want to thank you for this. There's tremendous support for the museum. I know that within the community that the people have talked about. So.
Well, with that said, I'd also like to encourage members of the gallery tonight, as well as all the department heads. This book not only deals with the fire department, it deals with the history of the city, how the city has grown. It talks about some of the buildings, subdivisions, neighborhoods, how they grew and how they came to be. There's a lot of names of people that settled this city in this book. We've had a lot of people that settled the city that have been involved with the fire department over the years. So as you read through this, you're going to see a lot of history and a lot of names of people that you recognize, last names, all the way back to 1821, the beginning of the city, to present day. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tim. I think Interim Captain Turner has something to say also. Excuse me, Interim Chief. My bad.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I just want to reiterate what Captain Young said, the hard work that these guys have put in off-duty in doing the work down at the museum. They've put in a countless time there, guys off-duty coming in and making sure that they, that I also wanted to recognize that the union president is here, Scott Spencer, one of the captains on C shift, and he's also contributed quite a bit, so I want to tell them personally how much I appreciate it.
I think it goes for all of us. Thanks, guys, for what you're doing out there. Next, I have a quick update. I want to bring up Drew right quick on Thursday night. Can you tell us a little bit what's going to happen with our facilitator, Mr. Johnson, and our conference center, please?
Sure. Appreciate it. Thursday night, we have scheduled at 5:30 an open and closed session. The open session will be for the facilitator to provide details on it and hand out the market study, which is, I guess, the one missing piece left before we can finally make a decision. So we hope to have him do that, and the council can ask any questions it may have. The closed session would then relate to any other questions that the council might have at this time. There's a hope then that once this goes through, the market study will be provided to the developers, and with an eye to decision, well, final kind of project or final proposal by the end of September, and the council can make a decision in October. But again, we don't want to hammer it down and suggest that is the final decision, because things can happen. More time may be needed, but hopefully we're nearing the end of the road one way or the other, I suppose.
Okay, Drew, thanks for that update. We appreciate it. Yes, sir, Mr. Carlos.
Drew, I guess my question is, once this market study goes back to the developers, so the developers have a chance to redo their proposal, or when you say go back to the developer, it just does what?
The question that came up in the discussions between the facilitator and the developer were that our previous market studies, although not that old in human history, a couple of years, but in the market for hotels and conferences, it was a world ago, because so many things have changed since 2008 and 2009 came through. So the question often comes up is, will there need to be a subsidy, number one, and number two is how big can the market here support, how big a facility can the market support? It's no secret to anyone the proposals were considerably smaller than the council hoped to get initially, but I think the market study is, we hope to address is what is the right size given the realities that we're in now, and can we close the gap so there is no subsidy, or what would it be, and the council have to make that call at that point. So I think they won't be redoing their whole bid, but they'll have better information to either close the gap, make their proposal a bit bigger in terms of conference size, or not, and then the council will be in the position to say we've got all the information we need to make a decision.